today. We had stormy
Yeah.
weather. Anyway,
Move
Yeah,
your
my internet
move your
dropped
camera a
twice.
little bit to the right.
don't
Yeah.
tell me
Oh.
how to live my
Oh, he's
life.
moving the green screen. Uh-oh.
It's not
Never
the
move the
green screen,
camera.
it's the void.
Only move the screen. So the demoralization, it
Oh,
frightens.
Oh.
Jesus
Someone screenshot it,
Christ.
please.
That's great.
Oh my god.
Damn it.
So it's saying that I have an unstable connection.
Oh no.
Oh.
The stream's still on.
Yeah, but if you look at the bottom, you should be able to see that
Yeah.
the connection is poor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Like
why.
shit.
I'll have to figure that out.
It's
Am I
okay.
coming through okay now?
Yes.
Okay. So, demoralize frightens a target if they fail it. Obviously, you can make multiple demoralization. If you have expertise, which you effectively do with encroaching dismay, you can just demoralize instead as a bonus action.
Hell yeah.
Forced surrender is something that the wording is kind of vague at the end intentionally, but basically as an action, not a attack action, like full action, you intimidate a single creature into laying down its arms. You make a charisma intimidate check, contested by their wisdom insight. If you do not share a language with the creature, you cannot force it to surrender. If a creature has more than half of its maximum hit points remaining and is not outnumbered, it cannot be forced to surrender. Some creatures will have traits, features, or just function that the DM will state bar it from being forced to surrender. Like these berserkers, they'd be fine. You could force them to surrender, but like someone who's like mind controlled or
Yeah.
whatever. And then the last one's called terrifying blow. This one's super important. Whenever you crit, you can use the demoralize action as a free action against the creature that you hit with the crit. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good. Everybody
Where do
level?
I find those listed down?
They are in skill tricks.
Skill tricks.
And I'll hit the show to players. It should have just popped that up for you.
Sweet.
Anybody else have any leveling that they're doing, or are we all good?
Yeah.
Gucci.
Level.
Are we counting this as a short rest or?
So again, this is going to be sequentially kind of awkward.
Yeah.
But go ahead and get the long rest in. Get the hit points gained as if you long rested. All that. So let me explain the randomness. I'm going to move back to this map real quick.
But wait, I want to pick up the axe you got dropped.
What are you telling me? Okay.
They had gold, right?
No.
In the card.
I want the hat. The chief
They
is
have
wearing.
Faithful.
They have potatoes.
Oh, potatoes.
And they have one less amulet.
Correct. So the amulet, when you pull it off of the individual, you'll note, and most folks will note, is an Atma. It is not an Alanusero. And I want to make sure this is clear for everyone besides Castia. Everyone heard the guy say, if you heard him say it, say Atma, not Alanusero.
Atma. Okay.
So I'm basically rewriting history in that regard. But yeah,
Come at my bro.
So what we heard was not what she heard.
correct.
Okay.
It's almost like the two-faced nature of it was kind of misleading. But yeah, that
Was
said,
it Two-Faced?
TOO face. There's too much face.
Too much face.
Okay, so
God damn it.
you traveled and you moved to rest outside of town before entering into it, so you could arrive in the morning without trying to like force your way into a town and deal with their security measures. That said, during the course of your rest, as you're preparing to rest at the beginning, what you'll note is that several, and I mean several, like in the near tens or just over the tens mark, craft fly over you, moving westerly to easterly, and it's not any deviation. It's literally just a straight shot from left of the map to right of the map, directly overhead. In the dark, it's very uncertain whether or not those ships are Denisovin or Conglomerate or other. But I would say that the most knowledgeable of you with regards to combat and war, Orlandis, you would know that they definitely do seem to have similarities with the blade-bearing ship that crashed into what's her name's farm.
Okay. So most likely done as something.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
You rest, and being this close to settlement, there's no real chance of much of a random encounter here. So we're moving fast forward into the morning time, and you've already taken your long rest. You've already got your level and all of that, and I assume you move towards the town, whose name on your map is listed as Oostes, Uostas, Oostes. And you would enter from the north side, obviously. And this music's fair enough, I guess. I'll go ahead and snap ping you to the north there. It's misty. It's a coastal town. And you approach with your entourage. So we haven't had much time to talk about Orlandis's retinue. His background gives him 3 individuals who basically move along with him. And we saw them run away from combat, but we haven't really talked to them. So I kind of want to just put them in the limelight here for a second, so we can kind of meet them. They weren't utilized much in Cardend, but I just want to make sure that they are there if Jonah wants to move forward, use them. So, Baby Cat, you got the zoomies. There's a dwarf, hill dwarf named Arnold Blocklifter, and he appears to be basically the valet or kind of henchman of Orlandis' retinue. Most of the gear that Orlandis has been carrying, with the exception of his battlement, battle ready garb, is being carried by Arnold. Then there is Botolf Stone, who has a very similar appearance to Orlandis, except that he does not appear to have the martial competency or presence that Orlandis possesses. Instead, he has a bit more of a fancy Dan kind of attire and just presence. You would know that that Botolf is his major domo, and basically serves as herald, butler, and kind of accountant for Orlandis. And last but not least is Danica Wolf, who is a Janaran woman who functions as Orlandis' runner. She was utilized a couple times in Cardend compared to the others to get messages from people to people, and she wears a kind of dark cloak, and a nice traveling cloak, and she's very, very fast, despite not having any signs of elvish blood in her. She probably could keep up with a wood elf. That said, any questions about those 3? Okay, great. So when you enter into the town from the north, you'll note that you passed a couple of small, not very large farms, and it looks like that seems to be par for the course here on the north side. One of the first things that you're greeted by is a house that appears to have been burned out, sitting kind of high up on a wall, a higher kind of presence of land. And what you'll note is as you are approaching this place, is it seems that the land continues to descend stepwise towards the water. It does look like a number of the buildings are connected with wooden bridges and balconies, and the thoroughfares look like they have kind of wide open areas where you can see the tracking of wagons and where they move and maneuver, but also you can see that there are some alleyways present therein. The town in this early is not terribly bustling. There isn't much going on. You do hear a lot of sounds of a port, but they seem to be kind of coming off to the side of what you can see as the port. To the left and right, there are kind of rocky groupings, more so to the west than the east. But from what you can tell to the east, there appears to be very long or a very large structure. It's kind of built into the stone and carved out of it, that has a marking of what appears to be a boat anchor. And yeah, there doesn't appear to be any signage or anything, and there's no kind of notation on the streets as you're kind of moving onto them. Not like in Carden. Carden has pretty clear notation as to where you are and where you're going. That does not appear to be the case here in Oostis. And like I said, not terribly active this early. So, looking at the situation as it stands, and as I clear the initiative tracker, which has remained here for the whole time, if you see anything on the map, because again, you kind of have seen a decent amount of the map as you see it, because you're kind of descending onto it. If there's anything that you see that's of interest to you, you can go ahead and point it out and move that way, or if you want to try and find something specific that's typical in the town, you can also seek that out as well. I'll start with Vravik. Foxton, what is Vravik doing? Are you wanting to stay with the group, or is there anything in the town specific that you want to seek out yourself?
I'm gonna look for some official to turn the bounties into.
Okay, good. And then Zach, is there anything Astrogoth wants to seek out in the town this early in the morning?
Well, given what he is, I imagine that the first thing that Astrogoth would probably look for would be the inn/tavern to just get his bearings, start picking up on gossip, find a place to play music, and potential resting spot if necessary.
Gotcha. Jonah.
Yes. I think Jonah, or not Jonah, Jesus. I think Orlandus would check out the port, see which one is his ship.
Okay, so you're heading towards the port. All right.
Yeah. With my retinue.
Elizabeth, where's Lose going?
Probably go with Astrogoth to find the inn.
Okay. And last but not least, Castia, where are you heading?
Castia will probably stick with the largest number of people since she's never been in a city this size and is probably fucking terrified, so she'll stick with Lose and Astrogoth.
It's not the largest group, though. So Orlandus has 3 people that are kind of hanging around.
Well, I guess that's... Yeah.
Increase that number. But I understand.
We forget about them.
You're going with Lose and you're going with Astrogoth. Got it.
I don't see his retinue. They don't exist.
They're not.
Are
they're
they
NPCs.
really?
They're not
People?
important.
They haven't been mentioned till now.
Yeah,
Well, they have, but they
she doesn't know them.
just
How
hid
can
them
she
away.
trust them?
Hid them away in a tavern. Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and deal with Foxen first. So very quickly, probably having been through here before, you know that the place you want to go is Town Hall. And I will mark that with an 11. And there we go. So you should see the large building there. When you arrive therein, the door's closed. It's seemingly not open for business as of yet. But as you're kind of waiting around, you see an individual kind of approach behind you and look at you and say, "Hello there. Can I help you?" And as you turn and look at this individual, he is a larger gentleman, appears to be of kind of mid-Parnac and Jernaris descent based on his look. Very just stern-looking, dark beard and hair. He's wearing breastplate, and it looks like it's very fancy-looking attire and armor that he's wearing.
Good day, sir.
To you as well.
Point towards the door. Nobody seems to be home. I'm trying to turn in some criminals.
Oh, well, nobody lives there. Actually, yes, we work there. My accent changed all of a sudden, and I don't know why. Let me switch it back.
Bring
to
back the general store owner.
Why is it
First,
general
listen to you talk for 5 minutes and start
General
mimicking you.
Well then, yeah. Nobody lives there, actually. We work there, and I apologize. We haven't actually gotten on to business, but is there something in specific I, as the magistrate of Oostis, can help you with?
Yes, actually. I'm gonna pull out that noble's signet and the head wrapped in this bundle.
And also the parchment that... No.
And the parchments. Bounty. Turn in.
You know, you had the look of a bounty hunter to me. Well, okay. This one's worth 2,000. My word. Yes, I will ask that you keep whichever of those pieces of identification regarding this bounty specific to yourself so that you do not lose care of it. And I will take the other article if they're for the solemn individual, and I will go ahead and review this bounty first thing this morning. And are you staying somewhere as of yet?
Not yet. Where's the inn?
Oh, well, as a portside town, we have quite a few. So, you could stay at the Mink Shipmate. It's up north. It's on the western side of the north. Kind of points and seems to just be kind of pointing north directly from where you're at.
Let me rephrase it. Where is the cheapest inn?
Oh, I don't know what the prices are. Sorry, I don't typically stay in them. And although I do work in the town hall, I'm not a general information broker. What I could say is that the closest one to us would probably be looking at my notes here, the Moldy Horn, and just kind of points. If you go around that building there, that's Alan Smithy. You can head on over to there. It's right on the water. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ye-
isn't it?
Inn.
Isn't it?
Fair enough. And I'll go ahead and mark 19, so you have the note of that. That's again the Moldy Horn.
How do you spell Orn? O-R-N or O-R-R-N?
Horn.
Oh,
Horn.
Horn. Sorry.
Yeah,
Not
like
bad.
E. So, he will take whatever of the two articles,
You can have the head.
and you'll hold on to the dagger. And he says once he secured verification that this is accurate, he will send a note for you at the Moldy Horn. And is that where you had immediately after that?
You said there's a smithy right here.
Alan Smithy, yep.
Oh, smithy and Cassie Pegs. Yeah, what kind of deck you got?
This is a really good joke, and nobody here gets that. Maybe Elizabeth and
Armed to the teeth.
does nobody know Alan Smithy? No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So when a director doesn't
Did it
want to be
happen again?
attached to a
It
movie,
happened.
oh
Happened
god
again.
damn it!
Oh, look at that face. He's so happy.
Oh,
Welcome
no,
back.
We missed it all. Welcome back.
It's been a while since I've had a bad internet night.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I was gonna say that I got the joke, and then you just
Oh,
baited into the abyss.
I can still hear you. Like you guys didn't break for one
That's
second.
weird.
And there you go again.
God damn it.
Oh.
I wanted to demonstrate that he could still hear you.
Robot.
Beep boop bop ba doop ba doop
I'm
bop.
not even saying anything.
I'm sorry.
Try now, Tom.
I don't want to.
But you're perfect now.
Okay, great. So 19, the Moldy Horn,
Yeah.
and Alan Smithy. Thank you for getting the joke, Tom. When a director doesn't want to be connected to a movie, they use the pseudonym Alan Smithy.
Okay.
And I was like, well, who's the Smithy belong to? And that's how it came to be. Am I still? Is there issues? No.
You're good.
No,
you're
you're
good.
good. You're good.
Fucking hell.
So
Alan
19...
Smithy is basically the Big Lots of blacksmiths. And
Yeah.
Right. Or the Red Dragon Tavern in
The
there.
Red Dragon Tavern.
how dare you slander that chain?
They had a
the
real Red
best.
Dragon.
So 19 is Ghost.
I'm gonna
and
kill the
Moldy.
tavern. That's what I'm gonna do. That's
Moldy
Castia's gonna
Horn
slay the
and-
shit out of that tavern.
I remember that shit. So the Red Dragon matriarch lives under Red Dragon Town, which is the corporate hub for the Red Dragon Tavern and In Chain.
The whole Grimace Shake stuff just stole
Oh
that
my
whole
God.
idea.
You know what though? I miss Grimace Shakes already. I really do. But focusing
Is
on
that why you had to run off so suddenly?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was no. They don't have any. They don't make them anymore. So I had to make my own. Is what you're saying? I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Zach, you said you were looking for an establishment that would be a good source of entertainment and information. So
Yeah.
what you are realizing is this early in the morning, there really aren't many people out and about. But what you do eventually find is that as you kind of make your way into this little thoroughfare, right around here, is there's one guy, and he's right there. He's just sitting on what appears to be just kind of a makeshift, setup for a person to sit and be comfortable. And it's next to this very strange-looking bit of architecture behind him. And he appears to be asleep, just sitting in this space, like on a strange-looking barrel seat that's been made for him. He's wearing heavier armor. Looks like he has a couple of weapons on his person. And you'd also note that he has a very long scarf wrapped around his neck that has a lot of checker marks on it.
Like checker as in alternating colors, or
Like, basically like just squares, just checker pattern.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, even from over here, you're pretty sure you can kind of hear him snoring.
Is the place that he's sitting next to, is there any sort of importance, or is there any sort of relevance to this that I'd be able to pick up as to like why it would be this spot that he's at? Or
That's a great question. I'm gonna go ahead and have you make just an intelligence check. No arcana or history, anything, just straight intelligence. Good enough. So you're familiar with Thieves' Cant. Not enough to be able to read it, but enough to be able to kind of note that, like, it exists.
Right.
And it very much looks like there are some signs near him and kind of on buildings, like the building he's seated next to, that seem to denote that this has some markers or indicators that it has such signage.
does I don't know if this would have come up, but does Vravik know Thieves' Cant by chance, or
It
no?
hasn't come up yet, so you don't know for certain whether or not that's the case or not.
Well, I don't know Thieves' Cant, so I guess the best I would be able to do is while I'm looking for a place, is try to keep an eye on these symbols. And my first thought would be that I would probably want to go to one where there is fewer symbols, only because that probably would mean that there's less unscrupulous activities.
More than fair, but you haven't seen really anybody out and about to kind of get information about anything so far. So you could just wander,
Right.
that's absolutely fine. But you also do have a bit of a posse. You have Castia and Lose. If you wanted to wake him up, you could. But again, your choice if you want to or not.
No, we can do that. Yeah, so I'll tap him gently on the shoulder and
Kind of like stares up at you, and you can just see that like his eyes are kind of glazed, and he's just kind of, ugh. A bugbear.
hello, my friend. We're we're looking for a place to stay. We're new here, so I'm not sure what the locale is in terms of places we would be able to find a bed for the night.
He kind of throws up a symbol that's very strange and then kind of grabs a hold of his chin. What kind of place? And you're pretty sure he just did some sort of gesture that might mean something else, but you don't know what it meant.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
My background that I have for my character was, where is it? Criminal Contact.
Yep.
I didn't put that I knew Thieves' Cant on my character sheet, but I don't know.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't. So it is a class feature, but I do have a background that grants it as well. With the Criminal Contact, what I would note is this is kind of why we're giving away the game a bit. Like, if you don't
There goes
have...
again.
I can hear you just fine, by the way, folks.
You came back now. You're good.
Okay.
You're back.
So, most people won't catch that there's even like a semblance of Thieves' Cant. Like, this would have all gone over their head. But for you specifically is why I'm saying you're able to like note that there is Thieves' Cant happening. If it was anyone else, like Lose doesn't understand that there was a gesture thrown. She also doesn't note the symbols because she doesn't deal with that kind of riffraff. Am I still having problems?
No, you're good.
No,
You're
you're
good.
okay
You're
now.
good.
Okay.
We were just listening.
I just gotta make sure, I guess. Well, now I'm getting robots
Elizabeth
over
is
here.
Lose
having
got
issues.
got the bug.
Oh god, it's contagious.
spreading!
She infected me with her bad internet.
Oh no.
Fair.
All right, you're back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would just tell him that looking for a place to get a drink.
You looking for a drink. So you're thirsty. You kind of yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for a place that we'd be able to swing by later for a beverage when the time is appropriate.
Well, it's a bit early, but I suppose if you can get a pass from the Franz, then I could let you in. And he kind of taps on the wall behind him. Again, the spacing here, let me explain like the setup of the space. So there's a step up that leads to what appears to be kind of like the back end of this building, right?
Okay.
Kind of elevated a bit. And there's kind of a stone wall similar to kind of like this stair here, right? And it's about 6 feet high. And he's tapping that wall when he says, if you can get a pass from the Franz, I can let you in. Almost as if he's gesturing that that stone wall is something more than just a stone wall.
Trixie.
Does he want money?
So I guess the next question would be, where do we find this Franz?
Franz in the front.
Do you know if he wants to buy a boat?
We're not selling it yet. It's not ours to sell.
Looks at the bugbear and
Just
kind of
trying to be helpful. It's busy with all the paperwork.
and then kind of looks at you like he said something but he didn't say anything. And it's like, okay. Well,
I can't imagine Casty just coming in. You want to buy a boat?
yeah. So
She was born like a month ago.
oh yeah, just if you go around to the front and go in to the Franz, I believe he's got the spot open. He should be able to help you with whatever you're looking for.
All right, thank you, my friend.
Thanks for the help.
You walk around the
And-
building.
Yeah, what I would like to do is as we walk around, and I'm kind of confident that we're out of earshot, I'm going to explain that there's a lot more with that conversation than they probably picked up on. And given all the other things that are around, this probably isn't the best idea of a place to go and get their opinion on if they want to continue down this route to meet with meet this Franz, or if we want to keep looking.
That's okay. I miss stuff in conversations all the time.
He seemed nice enough.
do you go around to the front and head in, or do you go and do something else?
I guess we're gonna go in.
It seems fine.
Okay. So you come around to the front of that building, and as you can see, there's kind of a bit more of a prominence to the front. The building that you pass on the way around, because I'm assuming you don't go through this narrow alleyway,
No.
kind of maintain on the thoroughfare, but you see that the door has, like as you're passing it by, has two very large ferns, like fern leaves that have been kind of stapled to the sides of the door.
Oh, like fern fronds.
Like fern fronds. And as you pass around that building, you'd also note that this building here and the two buildings across the street from it have similar notation, these fronds. And,
Were you marking a spot on the map? I only asked because I'm not seeing anything.
oh, is it not pinging?
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, it's not snap pinging. Okay, hold on. Let me get you. I understand for
Here,
why.
I'll just
Bam.
move me.
I got it. Yeah, so you should be kind of coming around to this building, which he said is around the front, the fronds. But yeah, these buildings here across from it, and this building here, those appear. Oh, and sorry, this building as well appeared to also have these frond symbols. Now, this door on the front, the door is made out of wood and looks like it's been carved very ornately to display a massive fern. And it too has the fronds kind of nailed to the walls, or nails to the sides of the door. When you enter into this space, the door does open, and it appears to be the only one that's lit inside. But as you step in, you would see that you're walking into what appears to be an armorer's shop. Doesn't look like a blacksmith's shop, just looks like a guy who sells armor. And Castia and Lose and Astrogoth. Alright.
Yes.
You step inside. There's a chime of a bell. Oh, is it showing everything?
It's showing everything.
That's fine. Pay no attention to the stuff on the right. And
But it looks like fun.
so that there is a hardening and a patterning that's formed on the surface of the metals. That said, the door on the backside opens up, and out comes a person. The individual that comes out is where's my notes? Why is he hiding from me? Bear with me. Sorry, now I'm lagging
Hi.
on my side. Just can't win today, huh?
I'm sorry.
It's all your fault.
It's been happening to me too.
Fair. So the individual that comes out is a man who appears to be Sayryujin, and he says, "Oh, hello. Hi. Yes, a bit early. Can I help you?" And I'm getting the handout. He's one of the possible shipmates, but yeah.
Great. Well, this doesn't exactly look like an inn like we were hoping for.
Oh no, yeah, not an inn. Sorry. Probably one of the
It's
only
alright.
places open this early though.
Farrah, could you point us in the right direction for one?
Yeah,
Um,
We must have
we were
had some
told.
miscommunication.
well, if you're just looking for an inn, just head along the water, head south towards the ocean. There's a building past the smithy, the Molly Horn. That's probably a good enough place, right?
Is that the name of the boat? Is he
No.
telling us to go sleep on the boat?
No, the name of the tavern.
Sounds fine enough to me.
Okay.
I've been in ones with worse names before.
Oh, yeah, well, I think we have some here that have worse names. But, yeah, that's the main one. if you
Do
want to
they
take
have good drinks?
no, not really.
Hmm.
I would say if you're
Is
looking
there one with better?
the the problem is most folks aren't allowed to carry the better beverages that are on offer around here, as most of the merchandise is sent out at this time. The Somber Sips mead is finest in all of Anundia. It's quite good. Unfortunately, they make a larger profit selling it to the folks of Leviat, so we don't typically get to keep much of it here in town. And also, that asshole Egart is just a complete piece of shit, and not very kindly either. Hmm?
He's the keeper.
Oh, she's a robot now.
Oh, no.
I gotta get that clipped. That's great. But yeah,
Full.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Somebody,
never-
somebody
we
save
ne-
please, CPM. Save him.
We never should have taken our robot onto the ocean.
Yeah,
That's
that's
shot.
better.
Rip.
But he would tell you
I
that
full lost my zoom.
his name is Jin, and yeah, he's a kind
Oh, he looks like a pleasant fellow.
yeah,
Ah,
a friendly merchant
smile.
type. You know, he is just a kindly fellow. He's you know, here selling really fancy looking armor in a nice establishment. Astrogoth, you recognize that there is definitely something underneath this place. The wood, the way it moves, like if it was just built on stone, which it appears to be from the outside, it wouldn't have the same kind of echo that you're getting as you're walking around. Does that make sense?
Yep, no, I know exactly what you mean. There's a lot of being from New England. There's a lot of old houses with basements like that that you can always tell. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Cool. Does anybody have anything they want to ask Jin or talk to him about? If not, go ahead.
I was asking if that guy was the one keeping it from everyone before I went robot.
I don't understand your question.
He's I
That
already
asshole,
forgot his
Agart.
name. Agart.
Yeah, Agard Aelwyn is the owner of the Somber Sip, and yeah, he sells all of his merchandise to the Leviattans, and also some of it moves to Parnak, I suppose, but none of it stays here. So typically what we have is just the barley brews and other such swill that the taverns keep on hand. I might know a place that's a little better than that, but I mean, I really only, you know, mention these kind of places to my friends.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
Astrogoth rolls his eyes when he hears that.
And he kind of
I know these types.
Astrogoth is my friend, and he's really friendly.
idly walks over to the table with the helmet, kind of picks it up, looking at it, takes the hammer and kind of taps on it a bit, and settles it down. Doesn't seem to have done anything with it, just a gesture. But as he's like setting it down, and my friends are usually the ones who help me keep this place open.
Ox-
I don't think I can afford to buy any of this armor.
I don't really wear any.
That's too bad. Well,
We'll tell our friend that does though.
great. Maybe he and I can be friends.
Do you want to buy a boat?
I don't. It was a pleasure. I do have some other business I'll be attending if you don't mind. Kind of gestures towards the door.
Yep.
Do I want to do the risky thing and ask about the downstairs, or do I not want to?
Do it.
What do you want to do?
So while he gestures to the door, I'm gonna be like, it wouldn't have anything to do with what's downstairs, would it? And I'm gonna tap my, raise my foot a few times on the floor to kind of indicate that it's hollow. So, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tapist.
He kind of looks at you, sets the helmet like further across the table from him, and kind of picks up the hammer.
Hamburger.
Hamburger?
Hamburger.
Ooh, that sounds
Hamburger.
He's a burger smith. I knew it.
He picks up the hammer and kind of like
hired.
idly kind of uses like the pick side to kind of like play with his fingers, and he says, "Huh? Did you gather that all just by stepping inside, or did you speak to Billiam out back?"
But his name is
I don't
Billiam
know.
too?
Billiam's a pretty common name.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. That sounds like a question that I would only really answer for my friends.
You're adorable. I love that. It's good. Well, since he sent you in here, I suppose I'm supposed to be kindly and offer you a pass if you need one. Going rate's still 50. And then whatever else you spend when you're in there, that's on you. Anything gets out about this to the magistrate, though, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be terribly happy, those scarves.
Well, we're new in town, and it would be pretty easy for us to get lost and forget where things are if you catch my drift. I'm going to tap the side of my nose.
I assure you that you'll get lost in the valleys and peaks that are on offer downstairs.
You talking about titties?
But if you're just looking for some swill drink and a place to sleep, I highly suggest the Moldy Horn. Possibly a little bit more. Points to Cassia. Kindly. For folks like you.
I killed a dragon. I'm not afraid of people.
Fair enough. Again, 50 gold piece for a pass per person. And whatever you spend when you're down there, that's entirely on you.
Poor innocent soul.
Seems a bit steep.
If you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. Just like the armor, which you so clearly stated you aren't interested in.
It looks great. Just don't wear it.
Fair enough. Get some for your
Cass-
house.
Castia
Or
will...
your boat. Gestures towards Cassie.
A boat wearing armor?
That's a good idea. We should try that. I just have this, and she'll pull out the chunk of raw mithril that she has from like a bajillion sessions ago.
His just cocky demeanor, smiling, having just made that really great boat joke, and it being trampled over by Astrogod's weak sauce pun. He's just got this smirk on his face. He kind of just turns and looks at the mithril, and his eyes kind of go, "Oh, yeah, that would work fine if you just wanted to give me that. I could give you 3 passes, and if you have any other friends, I could give them passes too if you'd like. Fair trade. If you agree."
Sure, I'm not doing anything with it.
No one stops her.
No.
Okay.
Orlandis
I mean-
isn't there.
Takes it from you,
Not
Cassia.
not this squad.
Walks
Our
around.
bad influences.
Walks around to the back of the counter there, just like looking at it, like kind of hefting it, like all right. Sets that down on the counter. How many friends do you've got, Dragon Slayer?
Well, I have a lot, but in town, I think 5 plus 3. Let's say 8.
Pulls out 8 total pieces of parchment. The pieces of parchment in question appear to have a woman. Kind of, you can see on the side there that it's already been kind of shown. But basically, the card is this rug.
That rug really ties the room together, does it not?
It does, it does. And he says, enjoy. Most folks on their first day in the Elation will typically not be able to walk for a couple of days, so I suggest make sure you drink a bit of water and eat as well, as much as they're willing to offer. Gonna cut from you folks and snap to, last but not least, Orlando's.
It's
So,
me.
as I mentioned, there is definitely a sound of portness kind of happening to the eastern side of the map. And it seems to be kind of focused there on that side, kind of heading off and out of the town towards that rocky structure I mentioned. Or you could just kind of look around the port area present here and see if you can't find someone who will talk to you.
So what was the sound coming from the east again?
It sounds like more kind of like business happening, more kind of port activities, like hammering, movement of boxes, people yelling commands to other people. It sounds like there's what you'd expect from a port. That sound is coming more from the east than it is from the ships you see on offer here.
Oh hell yeah! Then I'll go east then with my crew.
Okay. You see, when you first get there, two very large doors that seem to have been carved out of the rocky structure that I mentioned. Above them is a massive circular symbol. The symbol in question has wave-like patterns in its center, and then kind of smaller wave-like adornments that encircle a massive anchor. The door that looks like it's the main one appears to have the keel of a ship that's been broken down into a series of steps that leads into a wooden structure that's been built inside of the stone structure. And as you make your way inside of it, I'm pretty sure this one's going to be open and airy, so you'll be able to all see it. But I also have an accompanying picture of what you're looking at as you step through.
There's a shark.
Bear with me here.
That's fucking dope.
It only gets better. That
Oh,
is what you see as you enter into the space.
Hell yeah.
Filled with people, all kind of working. Looks like the ship in question is under construction. Looks like portions of it, as you can see on the map, are basically being repaired. Cranes and the like are kind of placed on it. For what it looks like, this is a 3-masted ship, very massive. It looks like it has a number of cannon ports. It looks like it is a very massive warship. You do also see that there are fisher folk kind of present about. As noted, there is a shark that has been caught. And it does look like there's a lot of workers and people moving boxes into this space as they kind of use or open up the boxes and pull out contents that seem to be needed for the repair of the craft in question. You're immediately kind of cut off by an individual who just kind of walks up out of nowhere. The individual in question has kind of a reddish beard, red hair with kind of like a bit of hair kind of standing up on end on the front. Blue eyes, bright blue eyes. Forearms about as wide as, they're wide. He's got wide forearms. And he just appears to be a guy who walks over to you and he says, "Hey, you got business here or what?"
Hello. I am in search for a boat. He's gonna pull out the certificate from I think it was.
Takes the parchment out of your hand, just kind of whoosh, kind of looks at it. Looks like this deed's unsigned. Probably
Well-
want to handle that transactional bit.
The owner of the boat died, and he left this to me.
Then sign it off to yourself. What's your name again?
Orlandis.
My name's Alan.
Nice to meet you.
Alan Shipshape.
He shakes his hand.
And,
Alan Shipshape?
Alan Shipshape.
Right, nice.
He shakes your hand.
His middle name Billiam.
Yeah, of course.
Alan
Um,
Billiam.
Alan's
Ship
also a
shape.
really common name. More so after the Barbie movie. He says, "Yeah, you'll want to sign off on that, and then if you're interested in finding that craft in specific, I believe it is over, actually in the main cove, Heart Cove, um, large ship kind of towards the south side, I think." He yells out to somebody in Janarin, kind of yelling at another guy. The guy who turns and kind of looks at him kind of goes, and then says something else back in Janarin. You do hear a word that sounds like a name. He says, talk to Atan. Atan sounds like the name that he's saying, and it sounds like kind of in broken common. He says, talk to Atan. Shipshape says, okay, kind of points across the way towards these cannons, kind of over here. And you see that there are a couple people over there that are kind of looking over the cannons in question. Like, these do look like they are emplacements for this base, for this place in specific. Then it looks like they're kind of, I don't know, it looks like they're doing busy work, kind of keeping track of, certain things about cannons, whatever people would do to make sure cannons are good. That sounds official. Good job, John. You're a great DM. But you see one of them who appears to have blue skin, and appears to be of a species you're not terribly familiar with. And Alan says, see the blue guy?
Yes.
That's Atan Forehands. Go talk to him. He deals with most of the paperwork around these parts.
Okay. So a Tom Ford.
Yep. And as you walk over towards Atan and the other people that he's with, he kind of waves everybody off, looks to you, and he says, "Ah, an Aatan. Interesting." Smiles. And as he does so, you see him kind of pull a second set of arms from out of nowhere. And he kind of places his lower hands like this and kind of raises his upper hands up towards you and says, "How can I help you?"
Yes, hello. I am Orlandis. Oh, he looks cool as fuck. Okay. I'm just spell the name right. Okay.
What species is he?
The Dalkin.
Nice. I am Orlandis. I've come to see my boat, I guess. But I
Yeah.
have to sign this. Do you have anything to sign with?
You see that as you're basically asking him for that, you watch as your two attendants kind of walk around to the front of you. Your major domo pulls out a quill, an ink, and then your henchman kind of leans over so he can use his back to sign off on it.
Okay. Just
If you have sidekicks, use them. So yeah, Botolf very quickly brings out a quill and ink, and Arnold uses you use Arnold's back to sign off.
Yeah, I'll use it. I'll sign my full name
And then
on it.
Atan will take the document if you hand it to him, and he says, interesting. So the Questing Bonnie, this was Albrecht's ship, was it not?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, we have maintained a very strong amount of security on it. The docking fees are yours to pay once you have come to take up the craft, and it will remain here until you pay those docking fees.
Can you tell me how much they are now?
I would have to check, but I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000 gold.
8,000.
That's accurate.
Shoot.
You
Okay.
are
Time to go count cards.
You're an Aetan, so I assume that most of your warfare and your life has been spent on land. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Seafaring is a rich person's game. The
I
amount of money
see.
that's flowing through the boat rights hall here is massive. We have the best fishermen, we have the best craftsmen. We do what we can to make sure that we maintain a pinnacle of craftsmanship herein that services only the finest of customers. Albrecht was wealthy enough, but he did leave debts unpaid, and if what I understand, he has passed on his debts to you. So, you are more than welcome to look over the craft. He reaches into his sashes and pulls out a disc, hands it over to you. The security officers will not try to detain you if you board the ship. But if you head south and look to it, the name of the ship will be the Questing Bonnie. It should be clearly marked on the sides of the front of the ship.
Okay.
But he uses like the actual term, like for front of the ship, you know, like whatever that is.
Yeah.
And he says hull. It's on the hull of the ship. That sounds cool. Yeah. He's a boat guy.
That's a boat word.
He knows boat stuff. He's a boaty. His job is boat. Which, don't confuse that with swimming, because these are very different jobs.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, one is recreationally not drowning.
So now depressed and defeated, Orlandus is just gonna
the bow of the ship.
walk to
So,
his
bow
ship.
Or the beam of the ship would be on the beam of the ship. Where the names would go.
The beam is the width of the ship.
Oh, then it'd be on the bow, like on the sides.
Our bow on the bow is the front of the ship.
Yeah, it'd be on the sides, so like the port side and starboard side. Yeah.
And I hope you're taking notes. There's going to be a test on all this boat terminology at the end of the session.
Please keep that in mind, folks. We can't be true sailors. So if you go back
It's
to
over here,
the
right?
main map, that is
Yeah.
your ship right there. Leave that ship.
Okay, so he will depressedly walk with his crew to this expensive fucking ship.
Yep, and you will note that
Too
there
bad we don't have mithril to sell anymore.
is
True
material on the dock, but they explain that the port in question that your ship is currently placed at also services this side as well. So
Okay.
they are glad to have you move it because you're currently blocking off a lot of space for other ships. But again, that's why your fee is so expensive. And there doesn't appear to be anybody around. There are a couple people who are looking at you from this building, which you would see is marked with a similar marking as this building, which you would have seen by this point. You would have seen that your friend is inside. You would have seen that Ravik is inside. The front room of the Moldy Horn is pretty visible from the street. And yeah. So if you want to stop and go there before you go to the boat, you can. If not,
100%. I will.
Okay.
I will go to the inn to try and get some alcohol.
sure. And so when you go into the Moldy Horn, quiet, still as the grave. It's dank. There's like maybe two tables and two booths. Decent amount of seating at the bar. There's one table that looks like it's been knocked over and hasn't been picked up from the night before. And I assume that Ravik is probably sitting in one of the booths. Is that fair to say?
Feet
Because
propped up. Just kind of sitting there.
they're a bit more shadowy.
John, I do have a quick question,
Shoot.
John. Based on how you're describing this, is the Moldy Horn the Waffle House of
The
this
Moldy
city?
Horn is the Waffle House of the city. That's correct. You would have been introduced to the barkeep. He's a tired man whose name is Kenneth. And he basically asked you if you wanted anything. Did you want anything, Ravik?
Oh, beer.
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 Just kind of early, but okay, sure, fuck it. And he would sell you the beer. It cost you 2 coppers. And then in walks your ally Orlandis and his retinue. And you'd see that Kenneth kind of looks at him kind of, okay, can I help you, sir?
Good morning. I can I have something to drink?
Sure.
Something strong.
Oh, booze, okay. Kind of looks you
Yes.
over again. Yeah, sure. Pulls a bottle of very bright red liquor down and pours you a glass. It's not a very large glass and kind of sets that out in front of you. Big Bang Firewater. Best the gnomes have to offer. Enjoy.
It gives him a gold.
Nods his head. Like this is sufficient.
And he drinks it.
It is pretty fucking great. But yeah, it's also at the same time insanely alcoholic.
Good.
So
So
it definitely kicks the dust off of your sinuses. Like it just flows through you.
Dang, I think that.
so he sits or well before he sits, he asks Ravik, is it okay if I sit with you?
Please.
I just learned that it is going to cost 8,000 gold in order to move the fucking ship.
Partway there. 2,000 from the bounty.
Well, that's good, but what are we gonna
I do have 3 more to turn in still.
8,000 gold. What the fuck? Oh, just starts jerking again.
As you do so, and your retinue is kind of like tracking, we're going to shift back to the 3 in the Franz. So do you folks go around back to the Elation, or do you not? The Moldy Horn was also suggested. If you go to the Moldy Horn, we'll just say you arrive right about when Jonah just said. But if you want to mess with some brothel action, we can do that too.
Well, my intent was to find an inn, so I think, honestly, I would Astaroth would probably try to lead them in that direction before they kind of lose themselves in that.
Okay, so
That's
the
fine.
horn.
Then I can hand out the passes.
To something she doesn't even understand. Smells strange in here. But at the same time exciting. Oh, Castia. Oh,
Oh no.
you're such a dirty little moon girl.
Fuck, John.
I don't know where I'm
Did
at.
you
I'm gonna play a next card.
listen?
Okay, sorry, apologies.
It's fun.
So, you folks move into the Moldy Horn, and I'll get tokens out here. But eventually, you all arrive there, and once all together again, you would see that Orlandis is not in a good state. Castia, Lose, and Astragoth are probably a bit more plucky than everyone else, and Vradek is kind of matter-of-factly completing business and awesome, just drinking his beer. So,
I mean, we got tickets to an exclusive club. How could we be mad?
yeah, that's a great point. And Orlandis.
At what cost?
This might work. Let's see if it works.
Not 8,000 gold.
Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, you come
I'm
inside.
blind.
Shithole.
I can
Blind.
see.
Okay.
Need to dive.
It is a
It just
dive.
defaulted me to a different corner, so.
And yeah, Kenneth would be behind the bar, seeing you folks enter in, and looks at Astrogoth. And Astrogoth, you recognize this guy. You don't know from where, but he looks familiar. He kind of is giving you the same kind of look of like, where do I know this guy from?
I hate to use this term, but is there a sort of vibe check I could get from him? Like, is it a good or a bad kind of feeling?
You're pretty sure it has to do with your background. Like, there definitely seems to be something about this guy that's familiar to you. Like, he hasn't been here his whole life. And maybe he might be someone you know from past experience. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
But he, again, is trying to think of where he remembers you from. Last time he saw you, you probably weren't as flamboyantly dressed. Can I help you folks with anything? You need anything to drink? Seems like folks are drinking early this morning. Don't blame them. Day of Dan tomorrow.
I'll take a drink.
All right.
What was that green stuff that we had when we were back at your hometown, let's say?
Oh, love, they're not gonna have that here.
What was it?
Oh.
I didn't actually write that down.
Oh, all right. Well, I've got ale. I've got some fancier stuff, but nothing great.
You
Fire
don't
water.
have any of that. You don't have any of that mead.
No, nobody's got the mead. You're talking about the
The
somber
somber
sip?
sips. Yeah.
Nope.
Heard it was good.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll take whatever ale you got then.
Alpha drinks ale. All right. Like you already.
Castia will go over to Orlandis and be like, so, where's the boat?
You stop being bad.
And that's exactly what Orlandis will say to Castia in response.
Stop being
He
bad.
just looks at you with the spray bottle. You're being a little roasty, man.
It is just outside. The most expensive boat I've ever seen in my life.
That's good, right? Because it got left to you.
No. It is not good. And it has accrued some hefty fees for being in this dock. I do not know what to do with it.
First, believable, we steal it.
I mean, it is.
Technically, it's ours.
Yeah,
Yes.
how can they charge you for something that's yours?
Well, for them to hold it here and keep it safe, a certain amount of gold needs to, go through the hands of the protectors. And
You can do that? Because I have this book that James Abbott gave me. How much should I charge him when he asks for it back?
I don't know.
Good question.
I assume that was a gift, no?
Well, the boat was a gift to you, right?
No, it is mostly about them. But,
Well, boats are heavy, right?
yes. Not in a physical sense. I meant more in a metaphorical sense.
Kenneth will kind of, after pouring Lose her drink, look to Astrogoth again. Did you want anything?
No, I'm all set. Thanks.
You sure? I've got Daeutian wine. Seems to be kind of hinting towards the city of Dayet in that comment.
I'm not familiar with it. I guess I'll just have a glass of ale, please.
My mistake. Yep, no problem. Pours you one.
Pax
And how much is that?
2 copper. Head
Is
back.
the 8,000 certain? Can you not get it reduced? It is inherited after all.
I would have to speak to, I guess, Atan again, but I'm sure there is a sort of boat master, maybe.
Spoke with
But
a
we can-
magister.
Oh, there is government here.
Yeah, you passed the town hall on the way.
Oh, well, okay.
Didn't you
Um,
have some bounties that you had turned in?
I waiting.
I
Tell me to wait.
hate to pry, but you were saying something about a boat?
Yeah, we own a boat. But he owns a boat.
Oh,
the questing Bonnie.
is that piece of shit out there that hasn't moved for like a couple of years?
Yes.
Huh. Do you know the asshole who owns it?
Yeah, he's the asshole that owns it.
But he's the asshole that owns it now.
The
asshole that
former
owned it is dead.
yes.
Yeah, so when it first pulled into port 2 years ago, the fellow who owned it fired his entire crew and left the ship as is. I had to deal with the captain, and there's some things on board that ship that I'd mighty well like. I don't know if they're still good after 2 years sitting, but should be a couple of casks of wine on there from Leviat. I still got the coin for it. So if you can find that asshole, it's not much, only 500 gold pieces, but I'd really need that that merchandise running low.
How many casks?
About 5 of them.
Okay.
That put a fine amount towards the fees
Yeah, don't tell
that we were.
the owner, but me and that captain, we definitely did try our hand at getting into that ship after that fucking asshole of an owner locked it all up. But the security at Boats Rights Hall is quite formidable.
Well, it's our ship now, so I suppose
Oh.
we could do what we want.
Well, yeah, if you can get it off that ship, I mean, I'll pay you.
There was a key, right?
Nope.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
You like identification disc.
Yeah, he gave you like a disc so you could get on the boat without them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Doesn't like start up like a car.
Yeah, this town's a very large fan of passes, like handing out passes.
True that.
Oh, hall pass.
Okay, so first I do want to go speak to the magistrate. Maybe they can help us with these fees, and then I will come back to
Can-
the boat.
Kenneth will say, magistrate ain't got nothing to do with the fees. It's the Boats Rights Hall.
Oh. Oh shit. Okay, well, let us go on the boat then and see what there is on there.
Alright. Well, hopefully that wine's still on there, and if it's in good condition, I'll give you that money.
Okay.
Alright. Everybody going back outside to head over to the boat, or some folks staying, some folks going?
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm Astaroth will go.
Yeah, Castia will go along and tell everybody in a hushed voice about the passes that she managed to sucker somebody into giving to her for some stupid rock.
It's 2-mast brigantine, questing Bonnie. Looks like it does have some articles on deck, but once you kind of get up there, you'll realize that it does look like folk were able to kind of deal with the barrels and the like in suitable fashion. Does look like there were some attempts on the cargo holds, which are the large kind of metal floor grates.
Mm-hmm.
And it does look like there were some attempts on the doors on the top deck there into the kind of front-facing and rear-facing doors that kind of go into the poop deck and the whatever the front deck is called. I forget. I just know poop deck because it's just
The bow?
hilarious. Yeah, the bow. The forecastle.
Forecastle. Okay.
Yeah.
So does the disc fit into here, or does it
The
fit
disc
into
isn't a
the
key. The
door?
disc you hold up. If somebody says like, "Hey, what are you doing on that boat?" You go, "I own this boat."
Oh, okay.
It's just
Okay.
He's
identification.
mine.
It's paper.
Oh shit. Okay.
Gotcha.
And like I said, you do see some folks that are kind of near this building here that are kind of watching you. But I'm assuming you're holding it in your hand, trying to
Yeah.
fit it into things. So like they seem to ignore you. And yeah, it does look like there are points where if you had some skilled lockpicks,
We
users,
do.
you could probably break into the space. So you have a couple of different points of egress into the ship in question. I'm going to shift the music, I think. I just want to do something a little bit more.
The captain's quarters should be up here, right?
It's probably on the top deck somewhere, yeah. It's
Okay.
either in the back or it's in the forecastle. Some captain or most captains keep it towards the back top ship, but
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll go to the. If there's a door over here, I'll go over here, and then I'll point it out to Astrogoth, or wherever. Jeez, I can't pronounce that.
what?
How do you pronounce your name again, Foxen? Vravik.
So do either of you two want to break into the door?
What's it look like in terms of like? Is this is this an area that's heavily under watch, or would we?
It is,
have
but again, it looks like they are watching you less focused because Orlandis was kind of waving around that disc. It kind of looks like they're done watching you. It's your boat. You can do what you want with it.
Orlandis, do you want me to try to get us inside your boat?
Yes, I want to see what else Albrecht left me other than fines.
So I'll probably kneel down to get low and start making an attempt on that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a Thieves' Tools check with dexterity. DC is 15.
Got this.
Dexterity.
All right.
No.
So you'll break one lockpick in the effort, which I think puts you down to 7 or 6.
Driver's gonna push you aside out of the way.
Oh, by all means.
All right, just
Oh,
very
fuck,
quickly,
yeah.
kind of just throws out like the thieves' tools and kind of very quickly kind of, and you hear it click, pop, and Fox and Ravik then just kind of make his way into the space. Or do you let somebody else go first?
I'm gonna kind of step off the side and bow.
Okay. That makes sense. Orlandis, after the door is opened, looking inside, I mean, you can kind of see, it's a bit dark, but not like so much so that it's impossible to see. Do you want to step in first?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, bear with me here for 1 second. Already got Bravik. Already got
Dexterity
Astrogoth.
checks.
Lose. Oh, Cassia. Okay, I see. Alright. So, moving us to the ship. You enter into the it would be the back area. looking at the parts of the ship, this would be the. This doesn't have it. We'll call it the poop deck. Underneath the poop deck. You're under the poop deck.
Okay.
Inside of this first space, you see a door kind of left open. You would see a cupboard with what appears to be a bundle of rope on top of it, and a bunch of miscellaneous things covered with spider webs. Inside of this space as well, as you kind of see it, there looks like there's a ladder that descends down into the ship.
Okay.
Stepping into this space here, you would see what looks like a very organized looking desk that has kind of grown a bit of dust to it. A couple of books and notes have been kind of left open. You immediately recognize the hand on the paper that's on the main blotter there in the middle of the desk as Albric's hand, as he signed contracts for you before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go over to it, you would note that there appears to be a plan of escape written out on the document, stating that if Carden is to fall and will not be taken over by my rulership, those that are able to make it to the questing Bonnie should, in all efforts, retreat from here to the city of Sorrowgate in Parnak, where I have allies. The holds of this ship should suffice in trade and in goods for travel for any who are able to make it here. Signed, Albric.
Okay.
Looks
That
like
sounds promising.
the bed is kind of slept in. It looks like it has been used, but again, it's got a layer of dust on it that also makes you think that it hasn't been used in a couple of years. So someone
Yeah.
slept here and left. There are a bunch of maps and scrolls. Inside of the cupboard underneath those maps and the like are a set of navigator's tools, which I believe you are
Okay.
proficient in.
Yeah, buddy.
There's also a spyglass on the desk. Looks like it's in
Okay.
good condition. It itself is worth about 1,000 gold.
Yes.
And
Anything.
yeah, it does look like this is a very nice little captain's quarters.
Yeah, I will take stuff.
Are
Um,
there keys anywhere?
there are not on open display or in any of the doors that are just kind of left open, like the cupboard is. You can check
I'll
the
check.
drawers in the desk if you'd like.
Yeah.
Bravik, immediately make a perception check. Okay,
I know.
so
One
Orlandis,
of us.
You-
One of us.
you reach down towards the drawer and open it. As you do so, I need you and only you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Got you.
Nice.
Shield Master?
No, you don't have a shield on right now, I don't think.
Oh yeah, mother in green.
Okay.
So the dexterity saving throw was for you to very quickly realize that something was springing and close the cupboard back. So it seems that when you pulled it out, there was a very loud kind of thrung sound. That sounded like it was doing something, but you feel like you closed it quick enough that nothing has happened. You're kind of, all of you are like looking at the cupboard, looking at the desk, kind of like. But it was basically this noise shouldn't be happening, very quickly shut.
Can I investigate it?
So, if you look it over, you'll note that there does appear to be some form of spring trap inside of the desk. What its purpose is and what it does, you can't be sure. You can go ahead and attempt to disarm it using Thieves' Tools Intelligence. So that'd be Thieves' Tools using the Intelligence ability score instead of Dex.
Okay. Well, give it a shot.
Got this little buddy.
So, after like hearing the sound, you see Vravik's head kind of drop low, and him kind of get down on all fours and kind of look at the underside of the desk. Then he starts like making his way across the room to the bedside, where he
Oh.
seems to just kind of walk over to the underside of it and do something underneath the bed. The drawer then slides open slightly.
Skitter.
The drawer on the table?
Yeah.
On the desk? Or oh, okay.
As if it was like pop locked open, like somebody like deactivated some sort of strange device, like a relocker or something.
Nice. Okay.
Opening up the drawer, inside is a metal, like paneling on the interior, almost like it's like the bottom half of a safe.
Mhm.
And looking at the underside of the thing, you can see that it's also metal as well. There are a set of keys on the or inside the space. There is also a dagger that would denote Parnin nobility. It appears to have the crest of Albric's house, which is a Jernaran house, on it. You do know that he is not a Jernaran native, or at least his family is not. You do know that he is a transplant from Parnak to Jernaris.
Okay.
So the dagger, the set of keys, and that's it. That's all inside. That's inside of the safe drawer.
Alright, I will take the keys and the dagger. I think I want to give it to Boltov.
Okay.
Boltov. I want to give it to him.
Yep. Boltov and the others are on the deck, just kind of waiting. So you step outside and go to do that. While that's happening, Astrogoth and Castia, do you stay outside or do you go inside as well? And if so, is there anything in particular that you would have noted there that you want to take a look at? And on deck, Elizabeth, you are kind of in the heart of it. Like, obviously, a bit of excitement there, but keep in mind, like, stuff inside of your room. Think on that while they're saying what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're
I'll probably stay outside and
Okay.
keep an eye on things. I can imagine, even though I'm glad that it happened, I can imagine he despite the fact that he knows he's not the best person to pick locks, he feels a little shown up, and he's like, whatever, they don't need me. I'll just stay outside and
crosses his arms. The peacock frills are like waving in the wind. And Castia, you're muted.
Muted.
She'll also probably just stay out of the way.
Okay. Anything that was mentioned?
Console Astrogoth. Just
Anything that was mentioned inside of the room there, let's say that interests you.
No, I was mainly just wanting to make sure that we found the keys.
Yep. So
to
you
the
have
rest
the
of the
keys.
ship.
It looks like there are a total of 5 keys. One of them has a golden head, and then the rest of them kind of have very simple looking square heads. One appears to have grid patterning in it. Another one appears to have like a stamp that's like a grid. There's another one that has a ring stamped into its square head, and then there's another one that has a small rectangle in its square head. So the gold, you presume, is this room, this chamber, and then the gridded ones are presumably the lock and key for the hold. And then there was a door that descends down into the hold, a trap door, the ring on it. That would probably be that one. And then the rectangle is probably the door to the forecastle.
Okay. So yeah, gives the dagger to Boltov. And then he'll just like look for these casks.
Sure. So there's a ladder that descends down there, Bravik, as you're kind of walking outside to Orlandis and the crew. If you wanted to check that out, if anyone wants to check that out. If not, the other points of egress are, and I'll move us to those of you that are out on the deck. So this is not one for one. It's going to be how it will be when you clean it off, but the deck has a bunch of garbage about it. But yeah.
We'll go over here to this door.
Okay.
Robert's gonna go down this ladder.
Okay. So we'll do both kind of simultaneously. You will drop down the ladder. When you come down the ladder, you'll see that this appears to be. I move you, and you're trapped. But when you come down the ladder, you'll see that you're in some sort of kind of dining room or like mess hall area. There are 2 casks up on a shelf. They look like they are tapped. It does look like there's kind of a bit of solidified stuff on the spigot that appears to have just been left over from lack of care or concern. There is a wheel of cheese that looks like it is covered with spider webs. Looks like it's been kind of torn a bit apart by presumably insects. It has a decent amount of mold kind of growing on it, but you being presumably, and I don't mean to stereotype rat folk, but as a cheese connoisseur, you see the blade next to it and immediately know, cut, slice, move this away. There's the heart of the cheese in the wheel, and it's been protected by the wax and the outer seal of mold, and that's going to be the delicious, good, tasty part. And as you are cutting the cheese,
Someone walks out, he's just like, I don't know.
you descend down the ladder into the hold of the ship. You would see that the hold of the ship does have a number of items in it. None of them appear to be casks of ale. Instead, you see 3 small barrels, a number of different parcels and bags, a small chest, and what appears to be a metal, like, urn? Like, massive metal urn with, like, a metal capper on the top. And the symbol on the side of it appears to be kind of like a small explosion symbol.
Oh,
You'd also see that there are 4 cannons present inside of this space.
okay. Then yeah, we'll check the
And-
bags in the chest, I guess.
The door to the mess hall is left ajar, so as that door on the middle of the hold is opened and you start to descend the steps, Ravik, you could hear Orlandus coming down, and he can see you kind of, in there cutting.
I'm coming out with a piece of cheese. Like,
Oh, it's not this. Like, unless you're cutting it that small, like, yeah, the amount of cheese that you're walking out of there, like, it's a good, like 8 by 8 by 8.
Hell yeah.
Like, inches.
yeah, we will.
Great night.
It's a honko
Cheese.
cheese. Baby cat, no. Do not say this. You cannot do it. It is not playtime right now. We do it later. There's not now. Playtime, laser time later. Okay, so Orlandus, you come down. Does anybody else follow?
I'll go down.
Okay, so then to the door and then to the...
Sure.
There you
Same.
go. Castia down. And Astrogoth staying up on deck, or...
I mean, somebody has to stay and watch just in case something happens, so I imagine that's probably, if everybody else is going, I'll take up that responsibility.
Play some looting music
There is...
on your loot.
So there is a door to the north, and there appears to be a staircase that descends down, more or less kind of just like a ladder setup, really, that descends down into the bowels of the ship.
Do any of the keys match the motif of the chest?
No. I told you what the
Okay.
keys are for.
Yeah. Alright, so I'll try to open it, I guess.
Okay. So you walk over to it, and it's locked. It is a sealed chest. That's to be sure.
Poopy doopy. Okay.
Alright. Let's say you enter into the northern portion of the ship, and you would see that there appears to be just a kind of small setup for 5 or so sailors. This space looks like it is pretty rustic. Looks like there's a footlocker over by one side, a number of barrels that look like they have the remnants of pale ale, which when you're at sea, you can drink water, but water will typically kind of just, not stay good for
Yeah.
very long. Pale ale is just an easier way of kind of going about that. There is a small book next to the closest bed to you, and in looking at that, you would note that it appears to be a book entitled The Song of Gar. And you can feel free to review this book at your leisure. It is a lore book, and that should be in everybody's spacing there. I think we've done 1 or 2
Bridges.
Neat.
lore books before.
Vravik, can you open this chest?
Sure, hold my cheese.
So, Ravik, kind of moving over to it, you would note that this big-ass urn in the middle is a sealed container of black powder. Yeah.
Listen.
It is about, like, you're small size, right?
hmm
Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger than you, but not as big as Orlandis. It's somewhere in between the two of you.
So it's like 5 foot.
It's a schmedium urn of black powder.
It's a
Medium.
schmedium urn of black powder. That is correct.
Wonderful.
Looks like it has a strange seal on the top of it. Probably not one that you've encountered, but it doesn't look like it would be too hard to figure out. But yeah, as you walk over to it, you see that the chest in question looks a bit more ornate lock-wise than anything you've dealt with so far in this ship. So if you'd like, you can make a Thieves' Tools check. DC is 20 on this.
Ooh.
And it'll be dexterity for the check. Okay.
Mm.
So if you haven't done Thieves' Tools failures yet with us, so the way we do it, you buy a set of Thieves' Tools. It has 10 lockpicks. You can notate this in the Thieves' Tools chart. If you fail a check, you lose 1 lockpick. So you're down to 9. But if you fail by more than 5, you lose 2. So you will have lost 2 lockpicks in the failure there. And you can continue to retry all you like. It's just until you run out of Thieves' Tools picks.
Try again.
Okay.
Come on.
You got this with the
I've got
little rat
intelligence,
finger.
dexterity.
All right.
Hey.
So yeah, there's a bit of Castia telling you from behind, like, you know, what might be helpful. You don't really hear it as you very quickly just kind of pull out the remnants of your old picks and then very quickly kind of get in there again and pop open this small little chest there. In the opening, you see that there is a very ornate looking pistol laying inside of the chest. It is sitting on top of what appears to be a book. The pistol in question looks like it has a small horn for black powder inside of the chest as well. Very ornate looking horn. And it looks like a shot that has already been kind of settled aside for 20 shots from the weapon. The book in question is titled Ars Fabrica. And if you or any wish to read it, it counts as a lore book, but it also counts as a skill book. So there's the
Ooh.
Ars Fabrica. And the section of this book that is lore based is what's cited, but it also delves into the black powder and use therein. If you read this book over the course of 24 hours, similar to the manuals, you will gain proficiency in firearms.
Mm. I want that.
See it.
Taking it.
Taking
He's
it.
gonna be our
Oh,
gunner.
this is all garbage.
I'm like, oh, pretty gun. Here you go. Hold this. Oh,
I'll take the book if
Distract him
you
with a gun. Distract him with a
distract him
gun.
with the gun. Look, here, gun. Fucking steals the book. Like,
Read as fast as I can. Wait, what are you doing over there? Nothing.
nothing. Don't worry about it. Black powder's mine.
But yeah,
Never had to buy it again.
that's what you would see there. And
Do you want the book though?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the book.
Okay, I'll take the gun though.
okay.
You might need the book to learn how to shoot the gun.
No, it's alright. I got a gun already. I got a special gun.
Gun for the captain.
Let's say there's a need for an investigation check as you're kind of in that space. If you want to throw it, it's a pretty high DC though, but we'll see.
Captain's gun.
Okay.
Nope.
So yeah, in the searching, you don't really find anything besides that one book that we discussed before. And then
She's like batting away the
spiderwebs.
spider webs and dust and everything.
Yeah, some of them are cobwebs,
Coughing a
but
bit.
some of them are a bit more like sound, like they're relatively fresher. And you would note that there's a good amount of spiders on deck, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually not bad at all. The cheese is probably a victim of the predecessors of the spiders. You are being so bad right now. I don't even get it. Okay.
Londis will continue downward, I guess.
Okay. And Lose, do you head down as well?
Yep.
Alright. I'll move you on over.
Nope.
And I'll move you on over. So you get to the hold of the ship. You see a lot more than 5 casks. Looks like a total of 7 casks of
Nice.
wine. You then see 1 barrel. This looks like it's just pale ale, nothing too concerned. A number of broken bottles, but a rack of fine wine bottles. These are not to be confused with the casks of wine. The wine that's in question here seems to be something that's a bit more hoity-toity. There's another chest similar to the one upstairs. There's a door to the north and a door to the south, and a handful of other items and articles in this space, but nothing that seems that it's going to be anything more than kind of like hardtack and the like. Let's say when you come to this door, it kind of slowly opens up, and your elvish eyes note that this room appears to be a treasure hold. There is a large amount of gold on the ground, spilling out of a treasure chest. It looks like there's a number of different articles of wealth present within this space.
Sure damn looks like it. She'll call out to Orlandis.
Orlandis, as this call's coming out, sorry Elizabeth to cut you off.
you're good, you're good.
I just want to make sure he sees what he sees. In the space that you enter in, what you see is a set of iron bars that block half of the back end of this room from the front. Inside you see the bones of what appears to be a dwarf, and next to the dwarf's bones is a lute. There is a very nice looking pair of daggers that are stuck inside one of those parcels, which as you look at it you realize is filled with flour, which is kind of important for long trips at sea. And there are a number of boxes present here. This appears to be like a brig.
Okay. I'll just close the door and I'll go to Lose, and then I'll
What-
call up.
What do you call out, Elizabeth?
Oh, you remember how you were saying this was a bit of a burden ship?
Yes.
I don't think so. Come look at this.
So Castia and Vravik, you'd be able to hear, and also Astrogoth, you would as well. So what you will note about the ship is that from your position, Astrogoth, there's a set of iron bars that lead down into the hold, and directly below that are another set of iron bars that lead down into the bottom of the ship. So you can kind of hear yelling very easily throughout the craft, pretty much anywhere that you're at. And then Orlandis, as you step in behind Lose, who's probably just standing at the door staring in amazement, you see that there is a massive amount of treasure in the
She'll step in into the side so we can come in.
bottom of
Oh
the
my.
ship.
I think we can pay
Well.
our fees now.
I think so. Holy. Okay. Huh.
Do you need to go down, Cassie? Are you going down? Okay. Bip. And Vravik, same.
Yeah.
Bip.
Holy cheese and crackers.
So the treasure in question is quite extensive. I have the monetary amount regarding the gold gold items and the treasure items that would be sellable or tradable, but I do not have the magic items. So I know 1, but I need 3 more. So 3d100s, please.
I'll do one.
Sure. 2 and 3. We got them?
Yeah.
Cool. There is... That's the wrong table.
All fairly close together.
That is the right table. So there's a very ornate looking set of leather armor. The leather armor in question appears to have a kind of reddish hue to it, and very just fine looking, not like tacky or anything, but very fine designing in the leather, kind of like burned into the leather facing. It appears to have like a fire pattern to it that kind of pulls out from the center towards the exterior of the set. Yeah, I know, baby cat. I know. There is a jug that has a number of different like points where it looks like it can be opened. And there is a broomstick, which at first glance doesn't look that interesting, but on second glance you realize that the haft of which is very ornately designed. And the last item that was already kind of key to be in there is a scimitar.
Ooh. Take a look at that scimitar. Scimitar.
Yeah, very, very nice looking scimitar. Has kind of a basket hilt to it. The blade appears to be an amalgam of metals, pattern welded. If you're not familiar with that terminology, if you know what Damascus means metal-wise, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But again, not Damascus specifically, it's more pattern styling. And then it appears to also have a name carved into the blade, at the base of the blade. And looking at it, you would note that it's the name of Albric's house.
Interesting.
Baby cat, I can't do it. I cannot do it. No.
And take a look at the jug and like sniff the openings.
So, smelling the openings of the jug, let's go ahead and just go round robin. One smells very, very just acidic. One smells like something you're very familiar with, poison him. One smells like beer, one smells like honey, one smells like mayonnaise, one smells like oil, one smells like vinegar, one smells like fresh water, one smells like salt water, and one smells like wine. Does anybody know what this magic item is?
That sounds
Jug.
very familiar.
Chug up many liquids.
Yeah, there is an item that
A mayo dispenser.
Yeah.
I saw it before. I don't know what the name was.
Yeah, it's an alchemy jug.
It's the alchemy jug, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is primarily used for dispensing huge amounts of mayo traditionally in
Right,
D&D,
that's the
from what I understand.
And you know what? Would serve as a very beneficial item to have on long voyages because mayo is great.
You know.
Is it?
It's not Miracle Whip, so that's great because Miracle Whip
I'd rather have the honey. Thank you very much.
Well,
So
mix it up,
with
do both.
the gold amount here, would this suffice?
Great question. So, in the counting of the treasures and items that are present herein, this is excluding the magic items.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The gold amount value that you, your major domo, and Ravik are able to kind of agree upon is that the amount of wealth that's present here is about 40,000 gold pieces.
God damn.
So that
Okay.
would easily pay off your $8,000 debt for holding the ship.
Mhm.
Yeah, shit. Okay.
It also seems that Albric's design for himself and any of his allies was to flee on this ship and head towards Parnac, specifically the city of Sorrowgate.
Okay.
But that is not something you have to do. It just seems that that was his design with this craft, his goal, if the matter was succeeded upon or not.
So, everyone, this is not just my treasure now. It is ours. Would you all mind if I pay off our debt to the shipwright?
Private makes
Probably.
no claims to the treasure at all.
Probably for the best that we pay that off so we can get out of here.
Okay. Arnold, can you help us?
It just seems a bit confused, and then your
Well, no, I want you to help carry some gold. That is it.
no, he seems to be confused by that, and you would say, or you would see that kind of stepping in his place after having helped you count, Botolf would kind of walk towards you and say, "Sire, it is probably not best for us to abscond with any of the treasures for the payment in question. It does appear that there's enough gold here to put into bags, and that wouldn't require too much in the ways of carrying. 8,000 gold would not be too heavy a parcel for you to carry, and also would not be too suspicious a parcel for you to carry in such a town as this.
Wait, let me check. Hold on.
I imagine at this point, Astrogoth probably comes down to see what's going on, and having heard that, would probably say something like, "It's best if you make it seem like it's still a struggle to pay it off, because otherwise they'll think that you have plenty more where it came from."
Ah. I see.
We should still sell those barrels of wine?
Yes.
Or casks of wine.
Yeah, and Jonah, to help you with kind of the metric, gold coins aren't super heavy.
Yeah.
So we're talking,
Okay.
we're talking probably like 27 pounds, maybe, with
No.
8,000 coins kind of stuffed. And what is it saying on your side?
So I'm already carrying 222. Right now my weight is at 119. When I add the 8,000, it goes to 279.
So it adds
So
like
it's like 150.
You said it was already at 200, didn't you?
No. I have 200 gold on me already.
Oh, I understand.
I was at 119. Now it's at 279.
So a gold coin weighs 0.02 pounds times 2,000. Or sorry, times
I would-
8,000.
I would be encumbered, but would that really matter for roleplay
160.
purposes?
160. Again, it's a heavy enough parcel. I thought it was less than that, but yeah, it's a heavy enough parcel. Then yeah, he would be fine carrying it. He's sworn to carry your burden,
Even when that burden is a garbage bag full of gold coins.
especially if that garbage bag full of gold coins is the burden.
So if like I would be encumbered, could I still carry that?
You're not carrying it. He is. You got to say
Okay.
Arnold Block.
No, I want him to carry the
You
wine.
have minions. Make the minions carry it.
You want him to carry what?
I want him to bring the wine to Kenneth. That's why.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, then he'll go ahead and finalize that transaction, and Boltolf will go with him to basically act as your mediator between you and Kenneth. So he'll accrue the coin, so long as Kenneth concurs that the wine is worth it.
Okay.
And we're only doing the 5 casks, right?
Yeah. So the other
Yeah, only the
two
five.
appear to be of the same vintage, the Leviathan kind of vintage, and then the 8th barrel, which is more of a barrel, not a cask, appears to be pale ale, not anything substantial. or
Okay.
noteworthy.
And then there is a rack of fine wines.
Some of the glasses are, or some of the bottles are broken, but yeah, it
Right.
does look like.
But
yeah,
there's
probably
still
Anybody
some.
trained in history?
trained in history. You said for the wine.
So if anybody trained in history, is it fancy wine? How fancy?
Yeah, I mean, you could, if you are trained in history, make a history check to see how fine these bottles of wine are. It does look like they kind of run the gamut of location. It looks like they've been picked up over duration. So Losei, more keenly aware of wine, you would note that the bottles here are probably about 25 gold pieces a piece if you were to sell them. But obviously they'd be more fun to drink. And there's probably about 30 of them that remain. Looks like there was space for about, I'm sorry, not 30, 20 of them. There was space for 30.
We're gonna get so wasted.
So 10 of those bottles are kind of broken, and you can see that there's staining on the ground. It looks like, if you had to venture a guess, the boat's been here for a long time. There's probably been upswells and kind of like, downswells. The boat's probably rocked and moved in its spacing. And in that process has relieved the rack of some of its burden.
Cool, great.
All right. So then we'll get to it. Just to speed race it through, the 8,000 gold to a tan in the boat's right is handled by Orlandis. And the barrels are maneuvered through crane mechanism and just good old-fashioned heavy lifting by your retainer, and are taken up and out of the ship over to the Moldy Horn. Botolf will later tell you that the transaction went without a hitch, and 500 gold pieces is added to your current wealth.
Can I actually give like 300 to them every 10 years?
No, they don't. You pay them a stipend. Like, you feed them, you house them when you have house.
That's true. I know. I want them to have some money so they could do stuff for
Yeah,
themselves.
if you want them to have spending cash,
mean-
but this is probably not the place to do it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Elizabeth?
Unless
I
we
did get
go-
them passes.
Yeah, unless we use the passes, then they might need some extra cash.
Botolf would not be interested.
Good job, guys. Have it.
Botolf is Ace. Arnold would love that shit, and Danica is not a fan.
Hey, they had the option.
I'm just
Is this the first time you're showing us the passes?
Oh yeah. Are you showing them the pass?
Cassia's.
Yeah,
Cassia had already talked about.
I was mentioning it quietly as we were heading to the boat.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, whether you chose to listen to it or not.
Yeah,
Right,
I
Private chose
suckered
to-
somebody into giving us plenty of passes for some stupid rock.
Blocklifter kind of
What-
seems to understand what this means and will definitely be a fan of taking them.
So would Pravik know that? Because he's got a bounty hunter. He's got contacts. And
Yeah,
so we know
so-
about the other shady little.
It wouldn't be hard for you to guess what the passes mean, especially since they're kind of, frilly and.
It said that they had a lady on them.
Smells of perfume.
The woman on question, and this would be something that Vravik would know just due to kind of low living, and then something that Astrogoth and Cassia, for some reason, just happens to know, but due to religion training, the individual in question on the icon is Alacia. Alacia Nagai, the former demon prince of lust. And you noted that they called the underside the Elation. So, yeah.
Now, this is a place you wish to go.
Arnold's like, yeah, that sounds great. That'd be fun.
Okay, here is some gold, and I don't think we are leaving today, but
Yeah, great.
go have fun.
You got it.
How much did you give him of that?
Probably like 50 is more than enough.
Oh, it's $50.
I'm just trying to do the accounting thing.
No, if anything, it'll come from Orlandis' personal.
Oh, it's not
No.
coming from the wine we just sold.
I mean, it could.
So let's
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take
I
it
need
from
to
the
know
wine.
whether or not.
He's the
okay.
captain.
I'll take
It's
it from the
his ship.
Okay, so minus 50.
she's the treasurer. She
Oh yeah, she goes.
She
You
needs
guys
to
take
know.
notes. You're
You
like,
need to know the
No.
specifics.
She
knows-
needs to know.
She needs
That
It's
to know.
been messed
um,
up before. I don't trust anyone with it now.
as Bravik walks back out, he notices the chest outside by the stairs.
Yeah.
We'll play with it for a second.
So
Open that shit.
hold on, sorry, bear with me here. So this one's not locked. This one doesn't seem to have any kind of lock or mechanism kind of containing. It does have a lock, but it's not currently locked. And when you open it, you would see that there's basically the same kind of setting inside of the box as the box upstairs, except that it looks like there was an additional like long pipe underneath the pistol area. The book is still present, but the gun is gone. So there is another copy of Ars Fabrica.
Gonna
it
take
looks,
that and give it to Orlandis.
looks like you can have two people currently studying how to shoot gun.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah!
Who wants it?
And I know there's one in
Randall's
here, but
doing
everything
things.
inside of this space is just grouping
It's part
together.
of the same treasure.
It's just that
Oh.
40,000,
Okay.
except for
So
the
what was,
magic
what
items.
was, you said there was a pipe in here?
So it looked like there was a rifle in there instead of a pistol. And so basically it was the pistol, but with an attachment for a longer barrel.
Gun's gone.
So, now that our debt is paid, Arnold is having fun, we have found everything we needed here. Does anyone know how to sail a ship?
No.
I look like I see rat.
could drive you.
I don't know. What
there.
does the sea rat look like?
I imagine fins.
That
a lot
makes
more
sense.
wet.
Travis gonna use disguise self to make himself look soaking wet.
Just take the water
That's
skin and
fucking terrifying. About what time is it now? Now that
So
we've
after
done
all of the transactions and movement, it's probably close to like lunchtime.
Okay. Hmm. Is
Ryder's
Do
gonna
you-
go back to the tavern with the delivery because he needs to
okay.
pick up the bounty events at some point.
Yeah. So when you get there, Kenneth states that the magistrate stopped in and told you to go that way. So when you get back to the magistrate asks you for the dagger and says, "Great job, very well done and confirmed. Thank you for your service, and hopefully you spend the reward here. We definitely could use the surplus in income. Most of the finances that go into this place, unfortunately, go to the boat's rights and to a very greedy individual in the meadery. But
Fuck yeah, he is.
if you don't decide to purchase anything here or help any of the small local businesses, that's fine. It's your prerogative as well. Are you associated with the Parnan man that came in to recover the questing Bonnie?
Loosely.
No. My men said they saw you about with them. Interesting. Well, if you have a chance to speak to your loose association in the form of the new owner of that craft, I very much feel like I have a proposition that might be, well, beneficial to all parties. You're a bounty hunter, are you not?
Yes.
Have you ever considered privateer work?
Not particularly. No sea legs.
Understood. Well, please treat with your associate, the Loose Association, and see if this individual might be more perhaps interested.
I'll ask him to come see you.
So yeah, as you're kind of sitting there in the ship, Castia, Lose, Orlandis, and Astrogoth, you would note that again you have quite the amount of coin here. Definitely a visible, surplus compared to what you recently had. And the determination here is, what do you want to do next?
If it's okay, could I ask Astrogoth and Lose
Well, they're right there.
to go? Oh yeah, true.
You don't need my permission.
Astrogoth and Lose, would you two be okay with accompanying both of to get some shipmates or crew, so to speak?
Where he's currently going?
Hmm.
Just in general.
Well, in general, for the ship, because we do not know how to maneuver it, and we need experienced hands.
Danica, who would have remained, would say, "I thought you were selling it."
I miss Barnack, and I feel like this ship would allow us to get there. I just want to visit home again.
Nothing wrong with taking it on the seas for a bit.
Yeah.
You can always come it back, bring it back, and sell it.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Cassio is the one who was wanting to sell it.
Oh,
It's just trying to be helpful.
Danica says,
No thing, yeah.
I just thought that was the plan. I didn't know we were going to go on to the high season head back home, that sounds great. As long as all your friends here are interested in that.
Wouldn't
Would
mind
you?
it.
Are
Like-
you all okay with that? Going to Podnak?
Have been.
I'd rather not stay here, so it's fine with me.
And you, Castia, do you wish to?
Maybe I
observe
know
these things?
something or somebody there.
Maybe.
Danica would say, "Do you wish for me to go tell Boltov to start hiring or whatever you said?"
Yes.
Okay, I'll go and let him know. And she scurries up the boat.
This is private. Oh, she goes.
Yeah, probably sees you coming
He,
back.
he heard the conversation. He turns into a little Irish knight for me. Magister wishes to see you. Something about privateering.
Oh. Okay, that worked out actually.
Oh, and here's your goal for the bounty on that vampire.
Oh.
Give them each 5, or what was it, 2,000 divided by 4?
Yeah, just hand it to Lose. She puts it in the treasure.
I'll just toss it.
2000.
Just toss it in
Just
the
toss
pile.
it in the ground. Yeah, like right there.
Pile.
Throws the bag into the pile. Like,
Piece of shit.
not even gonna let you count it. Just gonna throw it in there.
We're pirates now.
Like, he's dressed as a pirate. Just fucking with you.
It's just the flat.
He's got an eye patch. Got a hat.
Yeah.
Love
Just
it.
takes off his adamantine armor, puts on the leather.
So, if you wait a bit before you go up, as you're making your way out of the ship, you'll see that Danica returns back with Botolf, and Botolf would say, "I am sorry, but the task she explained to me was vague. What are you asking me?"
Oh, I wish for you to go with Lose and Astragoth to shit, where is the name? Well, Boatwright's Hull to get some crew members too.
I appreciate you trusting my discerning eye and judgment regarding hiring help, but I do apologize. I would rather you make the final call on such transactions. So it might be best if I accompany you and perhaps advise you. I'd rather not be the one making choices like that, sire.
I can make the choice.
Well, if you wish to send her in my stead, I will accompany her as an advisor, but I do not feel comfortable making choices on behalf of
You
House
are
O'Leary.
right. I will go. Castia. What are you good at?
Killing
Is it under his breath?
dragons
What are
over
you good
there.
at?
No, he says that, and then like everybody kind of has this moment where they're like, and they're all kind of looking at Cassie, and Cassie's just like, what?
I killed a dragon once.
I killed
You
a
know-
dragon and I fixed a tree.
That is true. Do you know what? Can you do something for me?
Sure.
I do not want you to take offense to this, but could you start cleaning the ship a little bit?
You have help for that.
This is true, yes. But I think with your expertise in fixing trees, as this boat is wooden in nature, I think you would be
Good at it?
expert at this.
I'm not sure about that, but okay.
Danica says she'll help. The others.
Do you want to come with us?
I'm just gonna clean the ship with Moonbeam. I can't promise what's gonna happen as a result.
Oh, Jesus!
I wish I had Moonbeam. That'd make this getting ready for Gen Con thing a lot easier.
Moonbeam.
Oh no, the cat box.
Oh no, dishes.
Perfect.
Guess we need new dishes. So, if you folks are going to go out and about, we obviously have identified 2 locations where people might be found. The Boatswright Hall and Moldy Horn. You said you'll go, Astrogoth. Would you like to go to the Moldy Horn, or would you like to go to the Boatswright Hall, or would you like to try and find a new location where people who could be hired could be found?
I guess I might as well try to get some ground on dealing with things from Astrogoth's past. So let's go to the Moldy Horn, because that's where the individual was from before, correct?
Right, Kenneth, yep. And he had mentioned that he had Deutian wine, which again would be wine
Yeah,
from the Deut.
Right. So yeah, I guess I'll head over there.
Okay. Anybody going with Astrogoth to the Moldy Horn?
Well,
Bravik? Okay. So we got 2 at the Moldy Horn. And then Orlandis, you're going to Boatswright Hall. And you're taking Boltov. Is anybody else going with Orlandis?
Toasty's gonna stay and count the whole.
No.
That's my
We're gonna
shit.
take an inventory.
She'll go with Orlandis.
Okay. And Cassia, you're staying behind to clean with
Apparently.
Danica.
Astrogoth has proven himself that he doesn't get in trouble so far.
Arnold will stay with those 2 as well, and will do a very serious amount of moving of things. So if anything heavy or kind of in the way is present, he's there to assist in that regard. That said, when you get to the Moldy Horn, it being later in the day and after wine's been kind of delivered in a noticeable fashion, the town is kind of bustled up a bit. There's more folks about, and what you would note is, bear with me here, if you go into our image notifications and you go to section C, which will be C1 through 9, all of those individuals are in the Moldy Horn. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, 1
Yep.
through.
So you would
C1.
see a woman sitting at the bar, just kind of hunched over a pair of tankards. Why are you throwing up 3?
You said C1 through 9, right?
Yeah,
Because
so it's C section.
I'm voting for number 3.
Right. So you would see that there is a woman, blonde hair, kind of, swashbuckler looking outfit, kind of hunched over a cup of wine, or no, a tankard of ale. In the booth where Bravik was sitting in the past, there are 2 blonde men. One of them is wearing kind of a blue mantle. The other is wearing a long blue coat. There's a massive heavy crossbow sitting on the table out of the way of their drinks and what appears to be bread and cheese. Floating kind of near the fallen over table is a deep one beholderkin. So in campaign setting, beholderkin are not automatically kind of crazy sociopathic fascistic evil like beholders are. Instead they are a much more kindly type and are welcome. Will you quit? Are a much more kindly type and are kind of welcome throughout society. There's a larger man at the other table, sitting across from a lithe blonde woman and another kind of larger man with a kind of moppy looking beard. And then there's a dwarf with a pretty massive crossbow himself, and a halfling woman with a big floppy hat and a bunch of weapons on her person.
Metal.
And if you ask questions of Kenneth, he would basically point out these individuals' names and give you a little bit of lore regarding them. So, who would you like to learn about first? And why is it the deep one, Beholderkin?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I would also go with 3, and it's
His name is Ekinthoth. He's a little bit of a scamp. Kind of owes a few folks around these parts a bit of money. He used to work for the Boats Rights Hall, but well, kept on paralyzing folks and ending arguments like that. I don't even know if he goes by he or they or he doesn't. They don't really talk much. But hard worker. Just doesn't really like arguing. And out of character, if you have the innate ability to just turn someone off to end a conversation, you do
Honestly, that's a S tier ability.
Right.
Fucking
Vern's
really?
gonna lean in and be like, "That'd be good to keep someone in the hold, wouldn't it?" We got prisoners.
Burr.
Guard.
Just burr.
Like, oh, he's moving.
No resistance, burr.
All right, let's shake on it. Shake his hand. Go on.
His
Go.
little-
Oh, okay.
He's got claw hands.
Little hands.
Yeah, he's got little hands.
I want to know
like
about
the way
the
that
hat.
shirt looks on you. Nope. Bert. Bye.
Anybody have any questions regarding any of the other ones?
The halfling.
The
Yeah, I was
halfling.
curious about the halfling as well.
She got a lot of weapons, and I like it.
She's
I like floppy hat.
And the hat's cool.
she's one of the river folk that live over on the other side of the cove. Her name's Tegan Wormfinger. She's a scout. I know she spends a lot of time on boats. Most of those river folk do. And I know she's pretty handy in a skirmish.
Do you know anything about cannons?
I don't think so. Maybe.
We can fix it. We can fix that.
Is there anyone here that you are aware of that has any experience with working on a vessel in any capacity?
Oh,
Instead
yeah.
of just riding on one?
Ikenthoth points at the deep one again. Who kind of, all the eyes kind of.
No, not that guy. We were gonna get him already. Anyone else?
He's already on board. He's already in. He's already aboard the ship. He's
Already on
Oh, we
Yes.
like
We already got him. He's
You
gone.
just see Rabbit kind of just pushing the Beholderkin through the air.
Yeah, don't
Come
make that
with
five.
me, come
Don't
with
make
me.
those whole 10 seconds that I spent in
You got me,
Photoshop for
Leo.
nothing.
Out of the folks here, Morrison gestures towards the one of the blonde gentlemen. Morrison's he's a quartermaster. Well, he was for a Harnan naval vessel. And Morrison, to confirm, is the Soldier 76 looking motherfucker.
So his abilities are to sprint and to aim. Got it.
You say that as a joke, but I did make a class for all of the Overwatch characters. A subclass. So,
wonderful.
yeah, he totally can sprint
And shoot.
and shoot
And aimbot.
and aimbot. Yep.
Perfect.
Don't forget the healing thing. That's super important. I don't know if he has all those abilities. But yeah, he was a quartermaster for a naval vessel, armed services naval vessel for Harnan, Kingdom of Sorrowgate, I believe.
Fuck yeah.
And I think his
So we're just gonna talk up all these people and try to like bring them along. Like, come to our ship. We'll talk with the captain
well.
about your salaries there because we don't know nothing.
It's great that you asked that, like, as we come to a close, because I do want to make sure we understand the dynamic here. So, you currently have a total of 8 people. 5 in the members of the party and 3 in the members of the staff, the retainers. The ship requires 10 people on crew at all times, minimum. You can have more than that, but 10 people on crew at all times. You could run double shifts, but you have a total of 24 hours that the ship's going to need crew. And the ship can't hold a shit ton of people. I don't know if you folks looked at it, but I'll go ahead and open it up so you can look at the entirety of it. But the ship doesn't have that many sleeping spots at this juncture. We got a total of 5 cots in the north side. We got a total of 2 cots in the hold for the gunners. There is a bed inside of the front-facing restroom. There's supposed to be 2. Where'd they go? So this is supposed to be replaced with beds. I don't know where the beds went.
Oh.
And there's supposed to be a bed downstairs too. They just vanished. Wow, that's crazy. Did I delete them just now? Yeah, I sure did.
This bed's the captain's quarters. That one's mine.
Because I'm the captain. Don't forget it.
I'm the captain.
Yeah, that's weird. So yeah, there's a double bunk bed in the front hold. There is a single bed, actually where that treasure chest was. I don't know how that didn't get shown. And that's for the person in the bottom, possibly the jailer. And of course, trancers don't require a bed, so elves, you can just kind of stuff them where
So,
you need
like,
them.
elf crew?
You just shove the elves where you want.
Yeah.
But so far as to say, inside of this space, there is not a single elf. And for the boats righty times, the folks that you're going to be running afoul of in that space are Jonah. So those will be the ones that you'll see in the boats right area.
In A1.
A1 through 9, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe you've already met one of them. Actually,
Yes.
2 of them. Who was the other person you met?
Forearms and big arms.
Just 4 arms.
So
Oh, and big arms.
E1,
Right.
E1 through 9. He's in.
How did
He's done.
Oh, I gave you the wrong guy. The redheaded guy's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be this freaking guy. It's
Oh.
supposed to be, sorry, it's supposed to be the pigeon.
Pigeon.
B6.
B1 through
So
1.
no, A4 on the Discord, and his name is. For fuck's sake!
It's a weird name.
What
What
name?
region's that from?
Yeah, his mom was having trouble.
Welcome aboard, fuck's sake.
Yeah, Balnir the pigeon. That's right. This was the guy that was supposed to come up to you and talk to you, not the redheaded guy.
Oh,
Sorry, I fucked
okay.
up.
Okay,
So-
so not Alan Shipshape.
Alan
So-
Ship-
I thought you were talking about the actual bird guy.
Actually, Alan Shipshape would have been there, but again, he's also somewhere else. So that's fine. We'll just go ahead and go with that interaction. Alan Shipshape
You-
was there. He doesn't work for the boats rights. He was just
But he
there.
was there.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
Big
answered your
forearms, and arm guards.
There's
are who
so
you're
many
going to
guys
meet.
with fucking forearms in this place, though, because Popeye, bro. But yeah, so A1 through 9 are the people you'll be able to find there. We'll discuss them more at the beginning of next session, and you can kind of
Okay.
discuss with Aten like what folks are. And again, the other thing you want to kind of notate here is how much are you going to be paying them, and you also have roles that you need to fill. So obviously,
Yeah.
there are roles that you stop it, you bad baby. Sorry. There are roles you feel that you can fill. That's great. Go for it. Fill the roles you can. But there are going to
Okay.
be roles that you cannot fill, and you'll want to hire people on. And it's not bad to double up on roles either. Except for
Okay.
captain and first mate, obviously, because it's already a double up. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call it there for tonight, and we will not be picking up next Friday, because next Friday is Gen Con, so it'll be 2 weeks from today before we play again. So do take your time thinking about how much you want to pay folks, and kind of measuring that out inside of the general. Thanks for watching those that did, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
No, I just did a
Better idea.